Doubles and coffee. As you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to pay attention to opposition, senator, opposition, member of the PNM, after member of the PNM, calling press conferences to say, oh no, yes, we just luckily benefited, my family and I, from millions of dollars in contracts, but I as a minister did not have any influence on the luck that my family got. The recusal after the recusal, the enrichment of brothers, mother, father, wife. You all have to listen to that. And then in the next breath, the PNM say, them UNC, even though the name never call in nothing, no audit report, no pleadings, no statement, no affidavit, no accusation, no allegation that them UNC corrupt, even though when the UNC government is in power, Trinidad and Tobago moves forward down the continuum of diversification, discipline, safety, security, opportunity. That is the dance of the PNM. And those who continue to accept the dance of the PNM are doomed to fail. Imagine the mass PNM fake news media. One PNM man take his time to make a boboli of Barry. One man decide to beat Barry. For whatever reason, he have a thing with Barry. And CNC3 and other media outlets express, blast that and say, blows for Barry. Think carefully. For 10 long years in opposition, United National Congress would have protest after protest, women's arm with pot spoon and highlighting high food prices, the corruption, the nepotism, all of the gates, the email gate, the Nelson gate, the Delcy gate, the COVID gate, the vaccine gate, the INES gate. And even though there were hundreds of people outside the parliament, you would not see headlines like blows for Rowley, blows for Small Pin, blows for the PNM. One PNM man put up a boboli and beat Barry, and the media run down and say, blows for Barry Padarat, blows for the UNC. And the fact of the matter is, the people voted for change. Yet the mass media is saying, now that Kamala is changing all the corruption in all of the programs one by one in order to save money, to allow resources now to be utilized properly in greater amounts for the benefit of those most in need. The PNM fake news media is trying to say, oh gosh, she changing the programs, people suffering. And if you all want to believe that, that's okay. I look at Foster Cummins yesterday with two national flags behind him, trying to say, well, yes, my daughter company, yes, my wife company, yes, we get millions in contract, but we get in millions long time. That's his defense. Well, good for y'all. Y'all take that and then let the PNM accuse UNC without even having an allegation against them. Against where the wife, the girlfriend, the mother, the brother, the sister, the nene didn't benefit anything when a UNC minister is in power. But the PNM says that there's corruption. But I need you all to stay focused, because a very serious thing happened in the court of law. You see, the court is a very serious place. You see, PNM could go on platform and lie, as Imbert once said in the parliament on Hansard, that he read Mein Kampf, which is Hitler's manifesto, and it taught him and others that when you repeat a lie over and over and over and over, it eventually becomes the truth. Those words came out of Imbert's mouth in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. The man who now said, PNM made stupid mistakes. We lost connection with the people. We didn't follow democratic principles and so on. Call me Imbert, The man who never touch a person is telling you, the PNM people, that the PNM hierarchy, extricating himself from that, lost touch with the people. But when are you ever in touch with the people The people don't like you. You're one of the most obnoxious, standoffish, elitist human beings on Trinidad and Tobago, Twin Island Rocks. Anyway, I digress. Express article. Very interesting. Huh? But all the media don't want to ask the PNM critical questions on critical issues being brought about in a court of law with sworn testimony, documents, and so. Extradition proceedings against Warner could be quashed. Attorney General admits key document missing. Let's read and find out what is this going on. A serious case, extradition case. Attorney General, who has been given time to find this critical document, is telling the court, we search. All the officers in the office of the Attorney General, they look, they scour, they scan, and they can't find it. The office of the Attorney General has conceded that a key document supporting the extradition request for former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner to the United States is non-existent. And given this, the legal proceedings against him should be stopped. The admission was made on Friday before High Court Justice Karen Reed, marking a significant turn in the decade-long legal battle. Not only the decade-long legal battle, the persecution, oppression, and disrespect, damage of Jack Warner, Jack Warner's personality, Jack Warner's name, Jack Warner's character, the UNC, the Kamla Prasad Bissessa, the People's Partnership Government, the United National Congress as a party, all of that a decade-long, oppressive, dictatorial, tyrannical lie perpetrated on the UNC by the PNM. Once again, let me continue. This development follows an ongoing investigation ordered by Attorney General John Jeremy Senior Counsel into how the extradition request was handled by past administrations over the past 10 years. Justice Reed, however, said she was not immediately prepared to quash the proceedings and directed that further written submissions be filed for her consideration. So critical, so key, so dastardly, so possibly unethical, immoral, criminal, dishonest misbehavior that the justice is being very careful. Say, hold on, go back, look carefully. I can't believe what all you submitted to me today. Make more submissions. Write, check, take more time. That is the position of the Honorable Judge. A specialty arrangement, if I pronounce it wrong, don't worry. It's a legal document that gives the rationale and gives you the reasons for the extradition request, what were the charges, the evidence laid out, and so on, to take a human being out of their sovereign nation over to another jurisdiction. It's very important. The arrangement identifies the specific charges an individual would face if extradited. Is a core component of the extradition process. Strang, who's a lawyer, King's Counsel, right, for the Trinidad and Tobago, for the Office of the Attorney General, said, any continuing restraint on Warner's liberty and the authority to proceed that was signed by former Attorney General Faris Arawi will be set aside. Essentially, he submitted that the extradition proceedings against Warner should be quashed. While this was so, Strand said Jeremy was not willing to concede. So John Jeremy, Senior Counsel, is not willing to concede that Al-Rawi and Reginald Armour, the two PNM Attorneys General who handled this matter, also a past Attorney General under the PNM administration, had deliberately misled the courts at all three levels by insisting that there was indeed a specialty arrangement in place. So even John Jeremy Senior Counsel cannot believe that it is possible for two human beings, two attorneys general, to have so irresponsibly, so maliciously, so dishonestly misled courts on several occasions. The Attorney General, our Attorney General now cannot believe that. So he and all want to find out, want to see. He could not believe that human beings could be so wicked, so dishonest. This, however, did not sit well with Warner's lead attorney, Fayed Hussein. He said while he was grateful to Strang and Jeremy for the stance they had taken in asking that the extradition proceedings be permanently stayed, Hussein said it was clear as day, based on court documents, listen carefully, and hear the names that call in. Keep in mind, all the live spot, for example, that Arawi, Small Pin, Rowley, Marva Gonzalez, all of them talking for over 11 years. They could never say Anil O.E. Roberts' name. Okay? Let's listen to this and listen to the name. Fayed Hussein said it was clear as day, based on court documents, that Al-Rawi, Amor, and all of the attorneys representing the state in the matter had in fact deliberately, convincingly, knowingly, and fraudulently misled the courts. Let me read that again, This is from a senior counsel after they cannot find 10 years statements made about this document that exists, and this document and submissions to judges and in a court under threat of perjury, misbehavior, and public office criminal charges, that these people would do that on several occasions. It is clear as day, says Fayed Hussein, senior counsel, based on court document, not based on old talk, not based on PNM platform nonsense, not based on Coleman, Penny, and Marvan, Foster, and who say what in a small room in Diego Martin with 53 people. Clear as day, based on court documents, that Al-Rawi, Amor, former PNM attorneys general, and all of the attorneys representing the state in the matter had in fact deliberately, convincingly, knowingly, and fraudulently misled the courts. This word fraudulently, fraud, and Al-Rawi, it seems to be glued together. CPEP, Joel Edwards, board members, $1.4 billion. Cabinet had agreed, and statements and affidavits sworn that Al-Rawi, the minister, told the chairman, and the chairman told the CEO and other board members and the corporate secretary that the cabinet had agreed based on information given to him by Al-Rawi. The word fraudulently was used there also. Now it is done here again. Fraudulently misled the courts. Because of this, Hussein said Al-Rawi and Amor should be made to face consequences for their actions. The state spent millions of dollars on this matter. They told lies in the court. Did Amor also lie in a court of foreign jurisdiction? What happened to that? Did the Law Association have a vote? And more than half of the attorneys in Trinidad and Tobago during a PNM administration said, hey, that's okay. He's a good boy. He lied in court. He perjured himself. They lied to the High Court. They lied to the Court of Appeal. They lied to the Privy Council. And they were supported by 2 attorneys general, said Hussein. That is PNM. So one senator of pennies, Foster, press conference. Oh, my family got millions, my wife, my daughter, but I didn't do anything to influence that. And the next one, on top of CPEP fraud allegations, fraud allegations in the extradition of a UNC member, a former UNC chairman and UNC minister. That is PNM. Corruption. Bless.